Hello, this is Clayton Miller along with Eleanor Williams, Maddie Burke, and Donnie Galliini. This past summer and school year, we worked together to build a tiny house for our Academy in Science and Engineering capstone project. When we first got this idea and agreed on it, I don't think any of us really knew what we were getting into because none of us had any idea how to build a house. We had zero knowledge of construction and design. However, we still decided to take the challenge on. I expected to build the perfect tiny house with a window on each wall, multiple overhanging lights, running water, and a toilet. Naively, I expected everything to come out the way I liked it, and I did not anticipate anything going wrong. However, I did not expect the finished product to be as cool as it is now, because I didn't know how it would feel to step inside something that we actually built ourselves. The first step in the building process begins with the planning and designing of the tiny house. We decided to make our house 8 feet by 10 feet with a normal vaulted roof. I would say we spent 5 to 8 hours on this part, which seemed like plenty while we were doing it, but all four of us learned time and time again that we had not done enough planning.
The first step in the building process was creating a foundation, buying the right amount of materials, and finding the tools necessary to do the job. The main tools we used throughout the process were a nail gun, a circular saw, a measuring tape, a measuring square, a level, and a pencil. Not very much. To build a foundation, we bought concrete pillar blocks, 2x6 studs, and 3/4 inch plywood. We began by pouring rocks and pebbles around the area we were going to use and leveling it so we had the right surface to place our concrete blocks on. Then we laid the wood studs in the rectangular form that allowed us to lay the boards every 16 inches.
Squaring is right now.
After nailing the boards in, we laid our plywood on top and nailed it down. This provided a sturdy platform for our house, which allowed us to begin the building of our walls. After drawing up plans for our doors and windows, we were able to start the building process for the walls. The walls were a difficult task because none of us knew what we were supposed to do or how they were supposed to be made. But after many videos and lots of research, we were able to create sturdy walls.
We began on the roof of the house. First, we had to build out the rafters, which connect to the ridge board, which spans the whole length of the house. This task was far more difficult than it should have been due to our lack of people and knowledge. Also, space was a constraint throughout the project, especially during this step. After the foundation of the roof was built, we began to apply sheathing to the outside of the house. This is one of the most straightforward steps, except we found out that some of our original measurements we made were off, which threw off our other measurements farther into the building process, so we had to fix that. Once the sheathing of the house is completely done, we cut out the windows from outside the house. This was a tip we learned from our research to save time. After the windows were cut and the sheathing was nailed down, we started applying tar paper to the outside of the house and the roof to protect the wood from the outside conditions. This was also a fairly straightforward process. However, it did seem to be pretty time-consuming because of the amount of nails that needed to be laid down. After this, we installed our 3 doors and 1 window, so the inside of our house could be protected from outside conditions. At this point, our tiny house began to look a lot like a real house, except the inside of the house was still completely bare. We did not have enough money to buy siding at this time, so we just began the inside of the house instead.
That's not gonna go anywhere yet. Real actual like scams. So we can nail it later. Yeah.
And I'll send you all mine, like I'll have to go through my...
The first step in starting the inside was to begin running wire through the house and nailing in the appropriate outlet and switch boxes. Electrical was another one of those things that took longer than expected because it can be dangerous if done wrong and we had no prior knowledge of it. After the wire was run through the studs and the boxes were in, we began hooking them up in a daisy chain formation. We have 3 lines of wire coming through our house. One is for an outlet for our air conditioning unit, one is for a light and switch, and the last one is for all of our electrical outlets. Once this was finished, we were a little scared to test it out, but our electrical worked. Right after we finished electrical, school closed and we were advised to practice social distancing due to the coronavirus. It threw us off our building timeline, so we weren't able to get the house done before the original date that we set. After a few weeks of quarantine, we decided to work on the house in shifts. We began installing sheetrock to the inside of the house, which will take us into the final steps in the building process. The only big thing that we have left is the interior design. With a few cabinet and counter installations, along with installing the floor, we will be finished. For the time being, we don't have a finished project, but we will continue working on it into the summer until it is finished.